Hello everyone, it's great to see you all again. Why do humans not have fur? Well, obviously to look good, right? But if not having fur is to look good, then why do we have to invent clothes to cover up that beauty again? In fact, we are the only primates without a widespread fur coat. So what's the conspiracy behind the nudity of human skin? Facts 5 minutes will help you find the answer. Usually, any mammal with mammary glands will have fur. Don't believe it? Just look around. You might think that animal fur in the armpits, eyebrows, and hair are different, but they are essentially the same. They just differ in names. Most mammals have warm blood, and fur is a way for them to keep warm. The fur traps a layer of air near the skin, creating a thermal blanket. Because air conducts heat poorly, it prevents heat from escaping the animal, keeping them alive through the winter. Furthermore, fur has many other functions. In warmer climates, fur blocks the heat from the sun and ultraviolet radiation that can cause skin cancer. Fur can also act as camouflage, with some species puffing up their fur to appear larger when threatened. And certain fur colors are believed to repel insects. But a thick fur coat also has its drawbacks. It makes it harder for animals to cool down. Dogs and many mammalian species regulate heat by panting. When animals pant, heat from inside the mouth evaporates into the air, cooling the blood in the veins in the tongue and cheeks. This cooled blood prevents their brains from overheating. Some mammals also sweat a little, and when the sweat evaporates from their skin, it takes some body heat with it, enhancing the animal's ability to cool down. Logically, you might think that animals would just need to sweat a lot. However, the cost of sweating is that the animal loses more water, and since animals don't have bottled water to replenish whenever they need, losing too much water when it's hot isn't a good idea. Moreover, if sweat saturates the fur, it can no longer effectively release heat from the body into the environment. Therefore, for most mammalian species, having a fur coat combined with panting in the shade and sweating a little is enough to combat heat in the summer without needing Coke or Pepsi. So why don't we have fur? Why did the human lineage evolve naked, smooth skin and sweat profusely, only to eventually invent clothes to cover up that naked and sweaty mess? Scientists believe that the disappearance of fur, a minor change in appearance, actually led to a revolution in cooling, shaping the evolution of our entire lineage, when ancient relatives of humans, the southern ape genus Australopithecus, appeared in East Africa about 4 million years ago. A revolution in mobility ensued. Fossil pelvic bones, femurs, and foot bones indicate that they might have been able to stand upright and walk on 2 feet. But finger and shoulder bones suggest that tree climbing was still common. It wasn't until the genus Homo appeared around 2 million years ago that we fully walked on 2 feet. And about 1.8 million years ago, Homo erectus, our extinct cousins or direct ancestors, took another step forward. Their tall stature, long limbs, and bowl-shaped pelvis similar to what we have today gave Homo erectus an ideal running posture compared to shorter and more ape-like predecessors. Some scientists suggest that this ability to run enabled Homo erectus to display persistent hunting skills. Persistence here means chasing prey until it's exhausted and collapses. Research indicates that Homo erectus might have tracked prey for over 5 hours continuously without needing to stop for water. And today we're no different. Humans are the only living primate species that can perform persistent hunting skills. For us, it's marathon runners. But Homo erectus' problem was the risk of overheating during long hunts. And scientists believe this was the driving force for us to shed our thick fur. Individuals with less fur would sweat more efficiently, cool down faster, and wouldn't need to seek shade during hot hunts. So here's a question that's a bit like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Did we shed fur first, or start running first, and then shed fur? Unlike bones, fur is fragile, easily decomposes, and is rarely found in fossils. That's why it's challenging to determine among Australopithecus and Homo erectus who had fur and who didn't. And concluding a species abandoned fur just because it was advantageous might be somewhat subjective. Therefore, scientists took the opposite approach. They tried to identify the last point when fur was still necessary for survival. Fur has always been an excellent insulator. Even mammals living in hot climates have fur to keep warm at night. However, Australopithecus seemed to have lived at higher elevations, typically 1,000 to 1.600 meters, where nighttime temperatures could drop to just 5 to 10 degrees Celsius. Therefore, scientists concluded that they could only survive at night with either a thick fur coat or the ability to make fire. And because the first evidence of wood ash indicates that humans knew how to control fire only appeared about 1 million years ago, in the era of upright humans Homo erectus, scientists theorized that Australopithecus probably had quite a bit of fur until they disappeared completely about 2 million years ago. So the shedding of fur could have happened somewhere within our Homo lineage. And DNA evidence on our skin can help pinpoint exactly when we began to lose our fur. Human skin color reflects adaptation to ultraviolet radiation from the sun. The darker the skin, the more melanin it contains, which absorbs UV rays that can cause cancer. People with ancestors from the equatorial regions, where the sun shines directly down, have darker skin than those with ancestors more than 95% away from the equator. Melanin produces brown and black fur and hair, meaning if there was a thick fur coat covering the body, there wouldn't be a need for darker skin, as UV radiation would be blocked by the fur. In fact, the skin under a monkey's fur is usually lighter, while the skin exposed to sunlight is darker. This means that if a species in the Homo genus had dark skin, they probably already lost their fur. A study found that the MC1R gene variant creating dark skin rich in melanin existed at least 1.2 million years ago. This suggests that from this point onwards, the skin of early humans seemed to adapt to sun exposure, and Homo erectus, who walked across Africa about 1.2 million years ago, probably had dark skin. Individuals with thinner fur would have better cooling abilities, allowing them to run and hunt longer. These successful hunters would return home with more meat and pass on their genes. Over time, fur would gradually thin until the entire species became hairless. In summary, walking on 2 feet and shedding fur are closely related. Our ancestors ran to hunt and needed an efficient cooling mechanism to do so. Individuals with less fur would have an advantage in this survival game and pass on that trait to future generations, leading to increasingly less hairy offspring. But there's another aspect: when did we start sweating so much? Just so you know, humans can produce up to 3.7 liters of sweat per hour under extreme conditions. When you hear that an F1 driver can lose up to 2 liters of water in a race, it's easy to wonder, why don't they just sweat less? That's because sweating less is a disadvantage in the same way having too much fur is. Imagine if Homo erectus didn't have the ability to sweat. When they overheated, their brain temperature would rise, causing dizziness, fatigue, and eventually death. Sweating enables humans to cool down, allowing us to carry out vigorous activities such as hunting, gathering, and running long distances without dying of heat stroke. So in conclusion, losing our fur was a major turning point in human evolution. It allowed our ancestors to run long distances without overheating, giving them a significant advantage in the survival game. Over time, we evolved the ability to sweat profusely, further enhancing our cooling mechanism. Today, our hairless skin and efficient sweating make us uniquely adapted for endurance running, allowing us to run marathons and ultramarathons that would exhaust other animals. And although we might miss out on the warmth and protection that fur provides, our naked skin and sweating ability have shaped us into the long-distance runners we are today. And human fur has not completely disappeared either. In addition to the tiny fine hairs, we still have thick patches of hair on other parts of the body. We have hair on top of our heads, which protects our scalp from the sun's radiation and keeps the 86 billion neural neurons inside cool. Meanwhile, pubic hair and armpit hair are still a way to advertise sexual maturity. In short, the fact that humans are hairless and sweaty is ultimately just a random mutation. Believe it or not, it seems to be shaping the evolution of the entire human race. Do you have any other opinions? Please comment below. As always, remember to like this video if you find it interesting, subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell to follow other content from Facts 5 Minutes. And now goodbye and see you again.